Now let's see how we solve the problem in Python. So in Python, you don't have to declare any variables, just use them. So now we process the input, and first we need to read in number n, which is for the dimension of the table. So n equals, we need to do a conversion, so it can be an integer, not a string. And then we need to declare a two-dimension array. The declaration of a two-dimension array in Python is a little bit tricky. So first you need to have the bracket here, and then a bracket in bracket. So the outer brackets that for one dimension, and the inner brackets that's for another dimension. Which dimension it is for depend on how you use it or how you see it. But here we first process the inner brackets, so we initialize it to be 0 for I in range n. So this is for one dimension, and this is basically one array in the arrays, or we can say this is one element in the array. And then we can do for G also in range n. This is how we declare a two-dimension array in Python. And then we can read in the numbers as we have the array ready to store the numbers. So we can use a loop, and here we read in a line, and then we can split the numbers. Now we have all the numbers in variable d, but all the numbers are still in string format, they are not integers. So here we need to do a conversion here. So with this, we convert all the elements in D to integers, and then we can assign this list of integers to the array. Now we have the array ready, so we have the table now, and we need to do the first step to find the smallest number. We can go through the whole table and compare number by number to find the smallest one, but think about our scenarios, and we have 4 scenarios, and in each scenario the smallest number is at the corner. So when we do the comparison, we can just compare the numbers at the 4 corners, and the smallest number is in one of the locations of top left, top right, bottom right, bottom left. So here we compare the numbers at the top left to the number at top right. So remember, in Python, the array, the index starts from 0. So the index of the last element is size minus 1. Do not just use size. So if this is true, which means the top left number is less than the top right number. So the smallest number is at the left side, not the right side. Okay, so here we use a variable to track the location, and otherwise the smallest number is at the right side, not the left side, so we give it to the index of the last element in this row, and this is how we decide whether the smallest number is at the left side or the right side. And now we need to decide whether the smallest number is at the top or the bottom. So we need to do another comparison on column G. Otherwise, I equals n minus 1. So after this, we have I and j to identify the location of the smallest number, and as we have 4 scenarios, so we need to check them one by one. So first we check when the smallest number is at the top left. So when the smallest number is at the top left, both I and j are 0, so we need to make sure they are 0. And then we need a loop. As I and j are both used, we use x and y here. So when the smallest number is at the top left, this is the original table. You don't have to do any rotation. You just here is the scenario. You just read the table as how you read it normally. So you read the numbers to the right first and then to the bottom. Here we can print the numbers out. Usually print function is to print a line. Here we don't want it to print a line, so we need to change the ending as nothing, so it prints the number with nothing. But then we need to separate the numbers in a row, or else you cannot read the number. So here we need to print a space with nothing, and so this is the process in the inner loop. After each time you finish the inner loop, you print out a row of numbers, and then you need to print the numbers for the following row. You need to print a new line here, just with nothing, so you just print a new line. This is the process for when the smallest number is at the top left, and then we need to process when the number is at the top right, and the condition is I is 0 but j is bigger than 0. When the number is at the top left here, we need to go down first and then go left. So the outer loop is go to the left side, and the inner loop is go downward. So here we have the loop as y in range n 0 minus 1. So the index is going from n to 0. And then for the inner loop, in range n. So here, just keep in mind that for the outer loop, the index is not the real index for the array. As for the array, the index starts from 0 and to n minus 1. So when we print the number out, we need to decrease y by 1, and same thing, ending with nothing. And then we need to print space with nothing at the end. And after each time the inner loop finishes, we need to print a new line. Okay, so this is how we process top right. And then we need to process the scenario when the smallest number is at the bottom right. And here we have a typo, and this one should be else if, and this one is else if I bigger than 0 and j is bigger than 0 also. So when the smallest number is at the bottom right, we need to go to the left side first and then go upward. So the outer loop is to go to the top side, and then the inner loop is go to the left side. Oh, there's a typo here. So here we have x in range n 0 minus 1 and y in range n 0 minus 1. So, and when print the numbers out, need to be careful with the index. Both of them should minus 1, and then end with nothing, and print a space of course, end with nothing, and after the inner loop, print a new line. So this is how we process the scenario when the smallest number is at the bottom right. And now we process the left scenario when it's at the bottom left. Just use else here. There is no other conditions. For y in range, when the smallest number is at the bottom left, we need to go upward first and then to the right side. So the outer loop is for us to go to the right side. The inner loop is to go upward. Y in range n, and then for x in range n 0 minus 1, and print the numbers. Be careful about index and with nothing, print space and with nothing, and then print a new line with nothing. So this is how we process the last scenario when the smallest number is at the bottom left. And now we finished all the scenarios and the code is done. We can go through the code again to see if there are any issues. This is to read the input. First, for the dimension of the matrix number n, here we have one typo here, and then we read in and then we initialize the two-dimension array, and we read in each row of numbers, and then we find the smallest number. We compare the numbers at the four corners, and there's a typo here, and we use I and j to identify the location of the smallest number, and then we process the scenario when the smallest number is at the top left. Looks okay. Top right. Looks okay. Bottom right. Looks okay. Bottom left. Looks okay also. And now let's run the program. So first we run the program against sample 1. So 2018-J4.py. And we give the numbers 2, 1, 3, 2, 9, and we get the output. And this is exactly the output in the problem. So we have it right. Now we run the program against the sample 2. So we have 3, 4, 3, 1, 6, 5, 2, 9, 7, 3, and we have the output as 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 9. So this is correct. And now we run the program against the sample 3. Have 3, 3, 7, 9, 2, 5, 6, 1, 3, 4, and we got the output as 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 9, and this is also correct. Now we can see that our program solves the problem and the code looks correct. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please thumb up, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I'll have more videos for these problems. I'll see you soon.